Hey guys, Kyle the Death Knight of Anime here. We're going to do my review for One Piece chapter 904, and this was a very interesting episode. This was a very heavy episode, to be honest. This was very heavy-handed. The best way I can describe this episode is that it was very heavy-handed, and yet surprisingly, it was very it was still very short, only 15 pages, and yet within those 15 pages, Oda just delivered shit tons of stuff on us in this one chapter. Like 15 pages, he did a lot with that. But it's Oda, so I guess I shouldn't be too surprised. But anyway, what's the chapter about? Let's get into it. So we start off the chapter by seeing that Blackbeard, what happened by seeing that after Blackbeard raided their base, all the revolutionaries, including Dragon, retreated to Momoiro Island. And to me, that says a couple things, but I gotta start off with by saying it really makes you wonder exactly what kind of military power Blackbeard currently has or has gained in the past 2 years, and what he has at his disposal that will make him strong enough to actually force the revolutionaries to flee. That really boggles the mind, because you have to think about it for a second. Like, okay, whatever Blackbeard is, Yonko or otherwise, he's still just one pirate. So, and he was able to actually make the revolutionaries one of the stronger rebel groups that is definitely that's against the world government. He actually managed to make the revolutionaries retreat. He made them flee. Like, it really makes you wonder exactly what Blackbeard has at his disposal currently that made him go yeah, I can definitely take these guys on. Like, seriously, what happened there that basically forced what happened that Blackbeard has at his disposal that made Dragon have him and all the revolutionaries flee. I genuinely want to see what the hell happened there. But yeah, either way, it does. But as much as it boggles me, it does also build up Blackbeard as a legitimate main antagonist. Like, I can, like, definitely with the more we're kind of building up on Blackbeard and just what he's been doing. The more I realize that this actually does build Blackbeard up as a legitimate threat, like an actual legit threat that I can almost that to the point where I can actually see Blackbeard being main antagonist, endgame boss type on an endgame boss type level, like a final battle between him, a final battle being between him and Luffy almost, like. And I can with the whole constant teasing we're getting of these throne wars and whatnot, the throne wars for the seat of the Pirate King. I can definitely see like the battle between I can definitely see the battle between Luffy and Blackbeard almost being on some Roger on some Roger versus Shiki type shit. Like, if you really think about it, if it does go down that way, there are going to be a lot of parallels that we could probably draw between that one scene of Shiki and Roger, like going at it. Like, it's gonna be Luffy and the Straw Hats with their one ship facing down Blackbeard's possibly entire fleet. Like, it's gonna be like Blackbeard, when you really think about it, is Luffy's Shiki. Like, he is Luffy's, like, he's the one who is basically at odds with Luffy so many times, and yet they're so similar and have a strange respect for each other, like Roger and Shiki did. So yeah, I can definitely see the main battle between Luffy and Blackbeard being just as epic as that too. So yeah, it is honestly just building up Blackbeard as this immense threat, and I can't wait to see what Blackbeard has. Um, Other than that, we learn what the revolutionaries are going to do at the Reverie, which is declare war on the celestial dragons. So, knowing this, a few possibilities of how this could play out open up, which is either the revolutionaries take the king's hostage in order to have face to face with the celestial dragons, or while the meeting of the kings is going on, the revolutionaries will use that as a distraction to sneak in and confront the celestial dragons directly, or, and I think I'm going with this one more because the more I think about it, it makes the most sense, which is the celestial dragons are going to sneak in, but rather than confront the celestial dragons, they're going to steal their national treasure. You know, the national treasure that Doflamingo mentioned back in Dressrosa, the Dressrosa arc that everyone said that was pretty much one of their least favorite arcs. Well, yeah, it's coming back here, and I wouldn't be surprised if that's exactly what it is, because if you really think about it, considering the foreshadowing we got in Dressrosa with basically how pretty much how basically dearly how dear for life the celestial dragons actually hold on to that thing, the national treasure, then obviously it's got to be pretty important to them. And yeah, if anything were in fact to force them into, if anything were to force them into an actual war, it would definitely be the stealing of their national treasure. Like they would definitely, like, if anyone actually stole the national treasure, physically stole it from them, they would consider that downright blasphemy. And either way, I'm more inclined to believe. Also, like, I'm more inclined to believe that Oda's gonna treat the meeting of the kings at the Reverie and the Revolutionaries' plan almost as two separate events, at least in the beginning, and then something is gonna bring them, and then something is gonna bring the two events together almost. And if I had to take a guess at what that one event would be, I almost want to say it would be Sabo coming face to face with Stussy again, because I think if there was anything that would probably throw the Revolutionaries' plans awry, would probably be Stussy and Sabo meeting again after all this time. And I can really see that being kind of a linchpin almost to things going bad. So yeah, but after all that freaking epicness, we go we switch over to Lucia Kingdom, where we see Pinkbeard. Yeah, Pinkbeard, I guess. I wonder how many more beards there are. Brownbeard, Pinkbeard, Blackbeard. Can we get a Yellowbeard on that already? But anyway, we see Pinkbeard, who's one of Blackbeard's allies, basically raid Lucia Kingdom for plunder. And after that girl mentioned Celestial Gold and the Revolutionaries showed up, like, okay, I downright refuse to believe that whole scene was just based on circumstance and coincidence. I bet you all. Blackbeard very sneakily sent him in that direction, knowing the Celestial Gold was there, and he wanted Pinkbeard to steal it for him. And knowing that, if that is in fact the case, I think it's fair to assume Blackbeard is planning his own little war with the Celestial Dragons, and with that, I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say the reason Blackbeard attacked the Revolutionaries' base is because he wanted them out of his way so he could carry out what he had planned without any interference. And right now, my holding the entire Reverie and Celestial Dragons hostage theory, yeah, it would definitely. I think it could still come into play, but it would definitely morph. If it does, it would definitely morph it into Blackbeard's MO. But either way, I can see. I'm almost like, honestly, I don't know if Oda's gonna go this far. Definitely this early on or whatnot. But I can almost see like a three-way clash between the Blackbeard pirates, the Revolutionaries, and the dragons in the very near future in this arc. I can't say for sure, but that definitely seems to be almost like it's still very early. But I'm almost imagining that would happen in this case. But I'll just have to sit back and watch the master at work and see what he does with this. And okay, so basically, before I go on to the next big thing I want to talk about, you may have noticed I've gone for a while without talking about Luffy in this review, and that's because for me personally, even though it's only the second chapter of the arc, I'm already starting to get this feeling that Luffy might not even show up again until halfway through. And in a way, I see that as a good thing because we know how detailed Oda likes to get with the One Piece story, and I can see at least a good chunk of it being focused on the inner workings of how a meeting is conducted at the Reverie. And I know people do hate it, hate it when a shonen goes into the political stories like Attack on Titan did. But I'll be damned, and I'll be honest, if I'm not kind of intrigued at getting an in-depth look at how this whole shindig goes down. Like, I genuinely want to see what exactly One Piece does when it actually dives deeper into the politics, and into the politics of this world. Like, I'm honestly genuinely intrigued by that. So yeah, I guess take that for what it's worth. Now let's talk about Bello Betty. And aside from the fact that she's wearing little to no clothing, which, thank you, Oda, that was some very nice fan service. You basically did the fan service very right with that. Very tasteful. Her speech about heroes, in a way, makes a lot of sense in today's world, where it's become all about the individual. And very rarely, if ever now, are we focused on helping each other anymore. So her speech was a very in a weird way was kind of that twisted was a weird twisted way of saying stand on your own 2 feet, and basically fight for yourself. And I gotta kind of commend One Piece. Like, One Piece is always gonna have that friendship and camaraderie angle to it, but I like how they kind of twisted the friendship and camaraderie almost in order to kind of say that, yeah, in order to protect others, you first have to stand up. You have to stand up for yourself and be a hero yourself. So yeah, it's a weird twist on the friendship and camaraderie thing, but it's a good twist on probably one of the biggest shonen on what is considered one of the biggest shonen staples of all. So yeah, I do gotta kind of commend it for that almost. But yeah, guys, that's my review. If you enjoyed the video, like, comment, subscribe, follow me on Twitter and Facebook. Death Knight of Anime, signing off. Later, guys.